Should you start the recruiting process in eighth grade? Doesn't that sound insane? I'm the college soccer guy, and I help you play college soccer. Let's get into it. So eighth grade sounds insane. I even think it sounds insane, but I'm going to show you something to show you why it's not insane. This is a student that we're working with that is in eighth grade, and I can tell you we are really, really busy with college coaches. So the first thing as an eighth grader, you want to understand that I'm talking to the elite level eighth graders. If you're a player who's in eighth grade who's playing MLS Next or ECNL, this conversation is for you. If you're not in that grade, then this does not apply to you. So the first thing you have to consider if you're in eighth grade and an elite level player is, should you consider a prep school? This is BlackRock. This is Northwood Prep. This is Shattuck St. Mary's. This is IMG Academy. Are you and your family in a position where you want to consider going to Barca Academy, which is in Arizona, to have your son or daughter commit their full-time life to sport? And if that's the case, you need to measure all of these different ones to decide which one you're going to go to. So in this student's case, which I'm going to give you this case study, we're talking about BlackRock. BlackRock is one of the best academic athletic high school programs there is in terms of a boarding school specifically for sport. And this student is deciding whether or not to go. They're also playing for MLS Next Scotia, and they're being recruited by Toronto FC and New York City FC. So they're very busy. Now, most parents might go, okay, we'll just worry about the club part. But no, you can actually use college soccer to leverage your opportunities with the different prep schools and with the different boarding schools and with the different MLS Next teams. So with this student right now, I'm just going to show you a text message that we were going back and forth with. This now, as you know, you're not allowed to hear back from Division I and Division II schools. Okay, not allowed is a big term. It happens all the time where they reach out to kids or they reach out to your coach and then the coach tells you. That's happening right now with another student I can show you. But here is a text message that we're going over with the coach right now. So the coach sent the player this message. This is a school, I'm not going to name it for right now. It's a Division III school. We explained to the coach what we're doing. And then the coach responded to us, hey, we really like your information. Can you please come to our camp? Then the coach asked us, why are you considering leaving your MLS Next team for BlackRock, which is obviously like a big decision. And one of the things we're going to write back to the coach is, what do you think I should do? And managing that relationship is important. Now, this student's in eighth grade, and we're already talking to a college coach in a real meaningful way. And the school that we're talking to, it's a top academic D3 school, start recruiting process at this point for a couple of reasons. One, Division III schools know they don't have to deal with Division I and Division II schools in the same way for a couple years. So they're going to take advantage of the best kids and try to get them in love with their school. And that's number one. Number two, from a player's perspective, if you get the interest from top academic schools, you can then leverage that interest to the D1. So let's say you go to a D1 camp as an eighth grader and they go, what's your name? Like, you're quite good. What's your story? And you go, I'm only in eighth grade. And then they're going to go, have you started the recruiting process? And you're going to go, oh yeah, I've already actually spoken to 3 or 4 Division III schools. They're really interested in me, etc. The Division I school is going to go like, holy shit, to be honest, excuse my French, and go like, we need to keep tabs on you. And they will do that at the ID camp because they're not allowed to do it in writing. Now, I can show you examples. I don't want to get any coaches in trouble or any players in trouble, but we have coaches often break that rule of the Division I D2, not allowed to communicate. It happens all the time. Now, they'll do it subtly. They'll say, hey, we really liked you, come to our camp, but then they'll like put it in bold. So then you know it wasn't a robot, it was genuine. Or the coaches will say to your club coach, hey, can you please tell the player like we want them at our camp? And we've had that with one of our girls soccer players happen multiple times at this point, and she's in eighth grade. So it's happening in eighth grade, and it's important for you to know that because for the top elite level players, you can take advantage of the fact that you can start the recruiting process now. And you may go, well, it's so early. Look, Middlebury is a top academic D3 school. Let's say they like you in eighth grade. They're not going to see you every single day. They're only going to see you like once every 6 months. So let's say you see them once every 6 months. That's 3 or 4 times by the time you hit your sophomore year. That's how many times it takes to get recruited. So let's say you start your sophomore year and then they need to see you 3 or 4 times and it takes that same amount of time. Well, now you're a senior. At that point, Middlebury are done recruiting in July and August of your junior year because they expect everybody to be doing top academic ED Division I admissions process. And that's just with a top academic D3. Top academic D1s are on the same timeline. Some of the D1s actually can go a little bit later because they have more money and more power, so they can wait a little bit longer. But top academic D3s are done with the recruiting process almost the majority of the time in August. And that's not just me saying it. Tufts is completely done most of the time in August, in September, in October. By November, they're like 80 to 90% done, with a few exceptions here and there, but you don't want to be the few exceptions. You want to get taken, you want to have it be easy, and you want to, most importantly, not be rushed to make a decision. So if you start in 8th grade as an elite level player, you are giving yourself a real chance to play Division I college soccer. So the answer is, the evidence clearly shows you should start the process now. I'm going to show you one other video here. So this video I'm going to show you got 50,000 views on my TikTok, and it explains and it shows what the college coaches are doing with 8th graders, especially on the girls' side, but also on the boys. If you're an 8th grader and you want to play college soccer, you need to listen to this right now. Please listen. Okay, please. This is what coaches are saying to my 8th graders. We're excited to see 2028 prospects starting to narrow down our school as a possible destination for college. Okay, this is a college who isn't saying it's too early. They're saying, good job, I'm glad you're already starting to narrow down schools, which would imply that they would expect you in 6th, 7th, early on in 8th grade to already started to create your list so you can narrow it down by 8th grade. So 8th, 9th, and 10th, you know exactly what to do. So for those of you who are like, 8th graders don't need to start the recruiting. I'm getting too angry at my phone that it didn't even record something. But the point is, you guys need to pay attention if you want to play college soccer. You need to start now. College soccer guy, like, what are you even doing with an 8th grader? College soccer guy, I'm an 8th grader. Like, what should I do to get recruited? I know you 8th graders don't sound like that, but play along, okay? No cap. Is that the wrong lingo? Do I got no riz? Just kidding. Okay, listen up. Yeah, so college soccer guy, like, what do I need to do? Tell me. Okay, first of all, this is specific for 8th graders who are elite level, meaning in 8th grade, you're already heading into ECNL or a high-level club team, Girls League Academy, ECNL RL. So, to summarize, basically what I go on to say is you need to make a highlight video. You need to be reaching out to Division III schools. You need to be identifying which camps you're going to go to. For Division I camps, we would go to Division I camps, send them an email and video before you go, but we wouldn't necessarily expect a genuine response back, although sometimes you will get one. And then for Division III schools, we would pick as well. So I would expect you to go to 2 to 3 ID camps as an 8th grader, 2 to 3 as a freshman, 2 to 5 as a sophomore, 6 as a junior, and then you'll be done is the idea. So that's about 10 camps throughout the period of time. And that would be very strategic, the ones we would pick, and that would give you the best chance to go to the right school for you and for the coach to see you. Remember, for Division I, Division II schools, they need to see you a minimum of 5 times in person in order to properly say, hey, we're going to give you an offer. The only way that can be skipped or sped up is if your coach is willing to be a reference on your behalf, or they trust your coach to be as a reference, or you're playing for a youth national team and they can see you online because you're playing at such a high level. And that's what the international players are often doing, and that is who you are competing with to play college soccer. So the answer wholeheartedly is 8th grade is when you need to start the recruiting process. That is the deal if you want to play at a top academic Division I school. So if you want more help playing college soccer and you want to know what prep schools you might want to consider, what MLS next teams to consider, how to start emailing and texting with Division III coaches like we're doing with our 8th graders, click the link in the description, give me a call, and I'll talk to you soon.